Hello everybody, welcome or welcome back. This is Paula with another video. Thanks for joining me. Today we are doing a budget with me. I am setting up our paycheck budget for the paycheck we will be receiving on June 28th. Drink of my coffee there. So we are paid bi-weekly. My husband and I, we both work full-time. We are technically hourly employees, but we pretty much are guaranteed 80 hours in a pay period. So jumping in, I expect my paycheck to be $1,265.38. My husband's going to be a little bit less than usual. The rates on some of the benefits that he got at work changed a little bit, and so that starts in the June paychecks to cover the July premiums because our fiscal year starts over July 1st. So $1,472.62 is what it was with our first June paycheck. So I'm anticipating it to be about the same. And that is all the income that we are budgeting for right now. All that we know for sure we are getting, which means that, oh, that's cool, that our total inflow is $2,738.00. So as we come down to our fixed expenses for this pay period, we have, we're not planning anything for a donation. We budget $500 for our, actually, well, yeah, because I don't have it up in, well, do I have it factored in here? So I've just always budgeted $500 for the HELOC payment, but that's not what it is. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I have it in my spreadsheet, so I'm assuming this is correct. The payment is $468.65. For our cell phone, I budget $196. It's just been a few cents under that, but I don't know that it has been consistent. So $196. For life insurance, it is $131 per paycheck. Ooh. Well, that's silly. We have no before school. Apparently I didn't change this. We have no before school program bill because school is out for the summer. What we do have is, I really didn't change this. Okay, so we also are not doing car registration. That total is going to be less than I thought it was. And we also have, we're cutting things with this, both paychecks this month because we have vacations coming up, and so I'm just trying to make sure we have extra cash to take along on those, kind of factored into the budget just in case. I pay I set half of the internet bill aside with each paycheck, so that should be right around $25. For daycare, we budget $480 per paycheck. That is for essentially 2 of my kids for 2 weeks, and then the other kiddo, I had enough for his 12 weeks of daycare saved up in our daycare sinking fund. So I cash flow 2 of them, and the other 2, I cash flow 2 weeks at a time for 2 kids. The other 2 weeks for the third child will come out of a sinking fund to be covered in this pay period. And then insurance, vehicle and homeowners insurance continue to go up, and I just couldn't find another. I usually set that aside in our first paycheck. I just could not find any wiggle room to add to that, so I'm going to set a little bit, $75 aside for that from the second paycheck going forward. See how that works out. So our fixed expenses. Are $1,375.65. If we subtract that from the $2,738 that we started with, we are left with $1,362.35 left to budget. So if we come down to our variable expenses, we have $280 that we set aside for groceries, $100 for eating out, $0 for beauty this pay period, $60 for drinks. We are setting aside $70 in allowance just for my husband. excuse me, no work meals here. $30 for car washes. Excuse me. We haven't been regularly using it, but I do budget for each of us to have a car wash each pay period. Amazon subscriptions should be $89.71. That's all a bunch of our household stuff. So it is deodorant, dishwasher pods, toilet paper, Kleenex, paper towels. What else do I have on subscription? Garbage bags, the Swiffer thingies that I use on the floor. So things like that. So it changes as something, toothpaste, soap. So things are, they come in different times or what have you. So they vary by month. So we're not doing specific money for chores, but we are doing money for my son reading books this summer. So $10 is budgeted for that for this pay period. And donuts, I have $0 budgeted for donuts. I don't really know why I didn't budget for one of those, but I'm going to leave it because it's okay. All right, so our total for our variable expenses is $639.71. If we subtract that from the $1,362.35 that we had left to budget coming into variable expenses, that leaves us with $722.64 left to budget as we move into our sinking funds. Now, as we are into sinking funds, Christmas is an online sinking fund. I try to put $25 away per pay period for that, so that's what we're budgeting there. We have quite between the credit on my account with my heating vendor and currently what's in my sinking fund. I'm not right now worried about setting money aside when I'm trying to cover daycare and other things. So that's zero. Our travel sinking fund is online and we're doing the 100 envelope challenge. So I'm going to do I plan to do envelope number 4 with this paycheck. $20 set aside for kids each paycheck. Nothing for gas because we are doing well on that. Vehicles, 25 is that's just kind of a typical pay period. The 52-week online challenge, we set 53 aside per pay period and it goes right into our emergency fund. For medical, we're not doing anything right now. I cut that to get through this next month here. And we're not setting anything aside for summer daycare anymore. We're actually pulling out of that. And for the tattoo online, I'm putting $70 in. That is where where I'm putting my allowance. So we're only doing 70 instead of our 140 there. My 70 in allowance is going to go right into that for the time being. Because that's what I want to save up for. So I'm just not even going to pull it out in cash so that I cannot spend it on anything else. And then for cash savings challenges, which fund our cash sinking funds, I plan to set aside $293. So if we add up our sinking funds, that should be $490. If we subtract $490 from the $722.64 that we had left to budget, that leaves us with $232.64. Now we do have a couple extra categories that I'm putting under other here today. So I suppose technically they'd be variable expenses, but I do not have space right now or whatever didn't have space to put them there. So for our trip, I just have an extra $150 in the budget for travel costs and things like that I haven't already figured out. And then we have $50 that is going towards a wedding gift. So that total would be $200, which means left over should be $32.64. So if I come down to our extra debt, The only debt category we have right now is paying on our HELOC. That is our last personal loan. So I plan to put an extra principal only payment of $32.64 on that with this paycheck. So that leaves our extra debt total category at $32.64, which matches what we had left over. So that should give us a zero-based budget. I do like to come in here and do a summary and just check my math quickly. 1375.65, 639.71, 490, 32.6. No. Other is 200, and total debt is 32.64. So we have 2738 minus 1375.65 minus 639.71 minus 490 minus 200 minus 32.64, and that does leave us with a zero-based budget, so that worked out perfectly. And yeah, so that is our plan for our June 28th paycheck budget. If you have any questions or comments, as always, let me know. And until next time, bye.